G'day guys, ZiggyD here. There's lots of interesting builds that you probably want to play in 3.1. I know I've got a massive list of builds that I want to go through, and in this video I want to show you guys how to take advantage of some very strong new leveling gear available to us exclusively in Abyss League, in the form of Darkness, Enthroned, Stygian, Vise, and the Abyss jewels that come along with it. So this belt allows you to have 2 abyssal sockets, and the best thing about it is it has no level requirement, so you can use it from level 1 onwards. And there's also abyss jewels you can put in it from level 1 as well that will make a huge difference to your leveling power. Here's an example of some of the jewels that I was using to level this wand character that I just got to endgame. Here's a jewel you can use from level 1, 10 to 17 fire damage, move speed, 6 to 13 cold damage, and some bonus crit multi. Here's another one with resistance, extra damage scaling, 8 to 15 cold. We've got another double damage with resist and move speed here, a double damage with accuracy and move speed. As you can see, all these level 1, insanely strong. Not to mention that when you actually put it in this belt, it gets 50% increased power, because of this 50% increased effective socketed jewels on the Stygian Vise. So very, very powerful. And you can see even at like endgame, these jewels, these level 1 jewels, still make a big difference. So 9,400 DPS. I'll chuck in 2 of these guys, and we go up to 10,400. We can put an even better one in here, it'll be even better. 10,700. So that's pretty immense amounts of damage you can get at low levels. Like, these are more damage than like an added cold gem when you first get it. So they're more. It's like chucking a few extra links on your actual gear for your main skill, and they're actually stronger than that. And you don't need the extra links, and you can put it in addition to you're linked up to Duel and your nice leveling gear that you're already using. So in addition to your other leveling gear, you now have a very, very strong belt you can take advantage of. So let's go through how to find this stuff. Stygian Vise Darkness Thrones are very cheap. There is a lot up for 2 Chaos currently. Even if it goes up a little bit, there's very good market depth. There's a lot listed for 2 Chaos currently, so even if they go up a little bit, there's a ton here. Supply's been really high on these guys. They seem to be a pretty common drop from the Lich fights. Lich fights are pretty rare, but they did increase the spawn rate of them, and lots of these belts seem to be entering the market. So the supply of these should be pretty good, but even if you have to pay like 5C or something for these are still very, very good leveling gear. It's going to speed you up a lot, and you're probably going to use it at endgame anyway, so it's not a bad investment. It's not like a gold room or something which you're going to have to take off at some point. You can just keep using this, and I'm still using mine, and I plan on keeping using mine moving forwards. The jewels are the more interesting part that you'll find helpful in this guide, because searching for these guys, finding the right jewels is a little bit more tricky, but not too hard. So let's go ahead and go through that. So we're going to use PoE DB again, like we've used for some of this other stuff in the past. Very good resource. You can use the other sites like PoE Affix and stuff, but I find it much easier to sort by item level and copy-paste stuff through this. So we're just going to go to Duel, and then we're going to select the type of Duel for the type of build we're doing. Murderous is for melee builds, Searching is for ranged builds like bows and wand attack builds, Hypnotic Eyes is for casters, and Ghastly Eyes is for summoners. So just pick the one that you're going to be leveling as. It doesn't really matter what you're going to end up as, but what you're actually going to be leveling as. So if you're going to play a spellcaster at endgame, but you're going to level with melee, because it's just easier for your build, then make sure you go for Murderous side jewels for your actual leveling jewels to take advantage of that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to sort the prefixes and suffixes by level so that they're listed like this in ascending order. That'll make it a lot easier here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to open up a PoE Trade search, and we're going to select jewels in here just to make things simpler, otherwise you'll end up getting some weird like boots and stuff like that. And then we're going to create 2 mod pools here. So you can do that by just adding a filter group. It'll add a complete separate filter group, and we want 2 of these because we want ones for prefixes and ones for suffixes. So once we have that, we're just going to start going through the list and adding things that are actually good for us for leveling. So let's say I'm going to level my next character as a sword attack build, and we just want to get as much damage as possible. So we're going to add in the highest damage mods for sword attacks. And these guys are available at level 1, so make sure they're available at level 1. If you've sorted by item, by actual level here, it'll be nice and easy. So I'm going to skip Fizz because the physical rolls are usually pretty low. And we're just going to go elemental. So we got lightning damage in there already. I'll go ahead and keep going down. We've got fire damage to swords, so we're just going to copy this last bit here. Control C, add mod, Control V in here, and select that. We're not going to input any values into this. We're just going for the search. We're going to cap this with level requirements anyway, so it won't matter. So we'll just go ahead, go further down. Cold damage to swords. Add that in as well. Select that one. And then just going to see if there's anything else particularly useful. These other guys are just kind of not very good, so we're going to leave just with what we've got there. And we're going to do the same thing for suffixes. So we're going to add in any useful suffixes. So for resistances, because there's a lot of different resist rolls, you can keep it simple by just doing a total resistance roll. So if you just type in total resistance, you can get a pseudo total resistance, or you can go elemental resistance here. If you just type in resistance even, makes things nice and easy, and you can just do this total to all elemental resistances, and this will just be like any combination of resistances. Usually you use this to search for, say, I just want an item with 60 total resistances of whatever. If we just put this in here, anything that have resistances will be flagged as well. And then we're going to input any other kind of useful leveling ones here. So for example, there's things like attack speed. We're going to put attack speed in there. I think I've got, we don't have that yet, so we'll go ahead and put attack speed. Same deal, just copying the end there. It works if you put total in, but you can also just select the explicit increased attack speed. Just make sure the mod is the same, so percentage increased attack speed, percentage increased attack speed, so it's the same. Crit chance probably isn't going to be super relevant for leveling, so we can go ahead and skip that. The abyssal stuff's okay, but we'll leave that. We'll have a way of having some of that come up, but some of the ones that are really good for leveling are like damage if you've killed recently, move speed if you haven't taken damage recently, if you're leveling a pure elemental build, penetration's pretty good. Accuracy's okay, but we'll probably skip that. And there's like move speed if you've killed recently as well, is quite good. Different jewels will have some different mods at the level 10 range, especially. So if you want to get some that you can upgrade into, then you could also include something like of Onslaught. Onslaught is a move, attack, cast speed buff, so that's a really nice one. So we can go ahead and put that in as well. And we can go add mod just here. Now, as you'll see, the mod ranges here are like 1 to 10 is just level 1, and these all have no level requirements, so you can use them on a level 1 character. At 10, you'll obviously have to have a level 10 character, so if we get one for that, we'll just have to be aware that that jewel won't be usable until level 10, but you could get a couple that you could use in the meantime. And for prefixes, the jump is usually from like 1 to 30 or 1 to 20. So what we can do to make sure we're only getting low-level jewels is just put like 19 in here. If you're not going to search for something like Onslaught, so if we were going to take that out, we could just put in 2, for example, and that would work just fine. We're going to put in 19 here so we don't flag any higher level jewels, and we're just going to go for the low level ones that we're going to use to level with. So once we have all of these listed out in the 2 groups here, you'll see why we're doing that now, because we're going to put 2 for the prefixes. We want to get a jewel with 2 of these prefixes, so either life and damage or 2 damage mods. And then we're just going to put either 2 or 1 in here. We can start with 2, so any combination of 2 of these, or we can put just 1 in here. We'll start with 2. As long as we've got that level requirement and tagged as jewel, we can go ahead and search. Online only, so you can buy them right now. And you can have a look at what's here. I recommend spending not more than like 2 chaos on these. If it's a really good like double damage jewel with move speed or something, then 2 chaos might be okay as far as leveling gear is concerned. But I wouldn't spend more than like 1 to 2 chaos here. So we can see here we've got Onslaught and life and cold damage to swords. This is a level 8 jewel, apparently, level 8 requirement, and that's only 1 alch, so easy peasy. It's a bit curious that that's level 8 when the Onslaught is level 10, but whatever, that's fine. So we could grab one of those to swap into once we reach level 8. And we can see a few more of these guys here. Looks like a lot of these have been tagged with Onslaught, because that's kind of when they open up. If we wanted to go ahead and find ones we could use from level 1, we could just go ahead and remove that Onslaught, or we could just cap this down to like level 2, for example. So if we go search here, and we can take a look what shows up. So it looks like we've got not too many listed on this one, but there's some pretty good ones here. A lot of these don't have prices. It would be pretty easy. These are actually really nice to just go like, hey, 1 chaos for this jewel. They haven't priced it. It's been there for a week. They're probably going to sell it for a chaos. I mean, you can maybe even get it like for an alch or a fuse or something. So there we go. There's one very nice one that we would grab and put in our belt. No level requirement on this, even though it's item level 70. Duel, it actually has no level requirement because these mods in particular are the lowest level mods and have a level requirement of 1, so nice and easy there to equip those. So there's 3 right there. I like that all resistance one. Damage if you've killed recently, 2 double damage, that's a really nice one. So if you could get that for a chaos, then you'd be beautiful. So just grab 2 of those using that method. Same method for each of the different jewels. Just add the ones that are relevant to you. Just make sure you pay attention because some of the ones like spellcasters, for example, will be like added damage to spells if you're dual wielding or if you're using a shield. Just think about what leveling gear you're going to use. Are you going to use dual life sprigs? Then make sure you go for dual wielding and so on. So that's it. As you can see, really easy stuff, and you can get some very nice jewels. I just knocked that together pretty quickly, and there's already some pretty nice sword ones. With whatever you're leveling with, you're going to be able to find a couple of jewels. Remember, you only really need 2, so as long as you can find 2 decent ones, that's looking like under 5C for a very, very strong leveling item, like stronger than almost any of the other leveling items in the game. So a little bit insane, but we can have fun with that to level your characters in Abyss. One more thing, if you want to min-max this even further, you can add kind of like jewels for you to upgrade into that are stronger as you level. And what you can do is you can basically just keep these same mods, but then add a few extra ones. So like the suffixes in particular get added damage mods once you move up in levels a bit. So if we scroll down here, we can see at level 35 and onwards, things like fire damage, just general damage to attacks becomes available. So what we could do is we could go ahead and add these into the suffixes. Let's open up our search here again. Add these, adds damage, fire damage to attacks, and we could add these guys in here. Lightning damage to attacks and cold damage to attacks, same deal as before. Explicit lightning damage to attacks, cold damage to attacks. And then you can potentially get jewels that have 4 damage mods, and you could even remove some of these if you want. So if you don't want some of these other kind of like lesser ones, like for example the move speed rolls, maybe you want to take out, maybe the percentage increased damage if you've killed recently or something. If you want to really go for these really juicy ones and maybe still want resist, then you can do another 2 and 2 search like this. And then what you're just going to do is you're going to go a level minimum of, let's say, 25, and we're going to put this up to like 55. So then we're going to look for any jewels that fit within that kind of leveling category for us to upgrade into. So let's go ahead and see what's available, see if anything good shows up. There should be a lot of jewels in this category here. So here we can see we've got an Onslaught, Blind, really high double damage. So you can start getting those higher ones. And that says level 52. So that's something you could upgrade into kind of like, you know, pretty early, like Act 8, Act 9, something like that. Here's a level 28 one with a high damage, Onslaught, and some life. We've got some other ones. We could remove some mods from the prefixes as well if we want to. Here's another one with Onslaught and 2 nice damage mods. There's 2 nice damage and another Onslaught. There's a triple damage with Onslaught there for 2 jewelers. Level 42, that would be an insane damage boost at level 42. That's a huge amount of damage if you're leveling like a Frostblades character or something like that. Absolutely crazy. Here's a really nice one. This is even a good endgame jewel for 2 alks right there. Level 54. You could use that well into endgame. So you can see you can get some pretty nice jewel bargains here. And these, remember, all of these in the belts get scaled up by 50% effect as well. So, you know, they're 1.5 times the strength of what you're actually seeing listed there. So pretty crazy. Anyway, guys, I hope you have found this video helpful, and I hope you level lots of fun builds this league. I know I plan to, and I'll be using this for pretty much every character. Anyway, guys, that's it for now. I'm ZiggyD, and thanks for watching.